What's good, everybody? It's Jonah. Come back at you on a video. So this video I'm excited to record because this video is just like all my other videos are all meaningful, but this one has a special place in my heart because I want this to be a heart-to-heart conversation with you. With this video, I want to remind you to give your life the time and attention it deserves. We live in an age where so much, like, it's never been easier to be distracted, where so many things are basically pulling us, like we're being pulled in all these different directions, because in this day and age, in the digital age, right, this is the digital age that we're living in, that attention is currency. And businesses, companies, other people, right, they're all fighting for your attention. They're all trying to pull you in every direction, and it's about time for you to step away and begin focusing on you, for you to begin focusing on your life. The reason why I say this is because we've just been completely conditioned with technology and just conditioned with just living without thinking, right? We're just doing things because we've always done them a certain way rather than becoming conscious and selective with the things that we decide to do and the way we decide to live, right? There's a saying, this idea of keeping up with the Joneses, and this started off like here in the United States. I want to say in like probably the 50s, 60s, like around that time in the 1900s, when there were many families, mostly the middle class families, that were moving out to the suburbs and living in the suburbs, right? Of course, there are different neighborhoods and there are a bunch of homes right next to each other. And what you need to remember about most suburbs and most of these types of neighborhoods is that the homes that are in the neighborhoods are typically around the same price, which means, generally speaking, that people who live in the same neighborhood, in the same suburbs, are typically around the same socioeconomic class. So these are people that typically see each other as peers, right? If two different families move into the same neighborhood, then chances are they're in like a similar position as far as life, right? Keeping up with the Joneses is effectively people trying to keep up with everyone else. These are people who they can see that their neighbor buys a new car, and so they have to buy a new car because they have to prove to the neighbors, to everyone else, that they're in a similar standing as everyone else, right? Like, no one wants to be seen as the outcast. No one wants to be seen as the poor family. No one wants to, right? Like, there's a desire for for people to want to fit in, right? And I think there's too much of that desire for most people in today's age, right? That there's an obsession with people wanting to follow the masses, wanting to follow what everyone else is doing because it seems comfortable. It seems like the safe option if everyone's doing it. But that couldn't be further from the truth. And because there's so many things happening, there's so many things that are like pulling our attention, and a lot of times people keeps themselves busy, that they often forget what's most important, and that's themselves. And it becomes easy for someone to let themselves go because they're so busy with all the things that they're doing, and then the time that they do have, they're giving it away to social media, they're giving it away to everything else as opposed to worrying about themselves, right? When I say give your life the time and attention it deserves, that means sometimes giving yourself time to disconnect. That means giving yourself time for yourself, not to be alone, is to spend time with yourself, right? A lot of people, it's like, for some folks, it's uncommon for them to just have a weekend where they don't have anything planned, because people associate being idle or boredom as a bad thing, when these are your best moments, because these are the moments where you can reflect. These are the moments where you have peace and silence, where you can think and decide the direction of where you want to go in life, right? This is where you can think about what it is that you want to pursue, what your purpose is, what you're passionate about. This is where you can actually reflect on your life and then look at the direction that's been going and decide if there's any adjustments that you need to make right? It's not normal for people to be having certain problems in life and for those problems to persist for years and years and years and decades, right? There are solutions to these problems that exist and solutions that you can implement that most people just completely disregard, that they'll much rather just keep themselves busy so they can just try their best to ignore the problem rather than just solving it, right? There's a lot of folks out there that, if we relate this to health, there's a lot of folks out there that would love to improve their health, that would love to make, you know, a change. And yet they decide not to because they just stick with what's easy and what's convenient. Because they grew up eating fast food, that they just can't see themselves not eating fast food. Or because it's so easy and convenient that they always have to just go and get it when they know it's not helpful to their health, right? Because a lot of fast food are just unhealthy chemicals that you're filling up your body with, right? It's not good for you, it's not healthy. And yet people won't put it down when there are solutions, right? There's the ability to be able to meal prep or be able to cook in bulk, which is not difficult, right? There's videos out there on like how to cook certain meals, and you can cook in bulk, so then you have meals all throughout the week, so you don't have to depend on fast food, right? If your goal is to improve your health, there's people who mindlessly will just buy a bunch of candy because they love candy every time they go to the supermarket, or they'll just buy a bunch of soda because they love soda. When, if your goal is for you to improve your health, then buying these products are not going to assist you on that journey. But people will mindlessly do these things because it tastes good and it makes them feel good, when it's taking away from their health. And ultimately, filling yourself up with junk is going to make it much more challenging for you to be in control of your emotions, of your feelings, and all these things, because your hormones in your body is completely out of whack, right? You're filled with sugar, you're filled with sodium, right? And your body's all over the place, right? Give your life the time and attention it deserves. Stop focusing on other people. Stop focusing on the other stuff that's going on in the world. This, you need to give yourself downtime, so then with the downtime you can figure out how to improve your life. There's so many people that will complain about their finances, and yet they will never go out of their way to pick up a book to learn financial principles or obtain knowledge on financial literacy, or they won't ever read things online or grab a course or learn from someone that's in the position that they want to be in, that has the results that they want. They will never strive to try to learn from that person to see if what that person is doing in order to put themselves in that position financially, right? Like, and those same people will complain for year after year, decade after decade, complain about their finances, and yet they will never lift a finger to do anything differently, right? When there's ample opportunity, it's never been easier to create wealth in the world than today, because today is the digital age, it's the golden age, right? Back then there was no such thing as the internet, and so you needed to, get in front of people, you needed to pay for newspaper ads, right? But now it's like, we have the internet, everyone has access to a phone, everyone has access to a computer, right? It's never been easier to get a hold of people, to get in front of other people, right? So it's never been easier to create wealth than it is today. And yet, in the best age that there's ever been to create wealth, most people still struggle, and most people have just never tried even lifting a finger to take advantage of it. How can you, if there's a problem that persists for many years and decades, and you haven't done anything for it to solve it, then it's because you have not given your life the time and attention in order to improve it. And just imagine how you could be living a much more fulfilling life, but you're choosing not to because you care more about these other things that are actually not important to your health and your well-being than actually doing the things that are important to you, right? There's so many people out there that will they just can't have a weekend where they don't have anything going on, because they, associate boredom with being bad. They associate having idle time as being bad. But in these moments are the moments where you can actually decide on where you want to go. These are the moments that you can have internal dialogue, right? Conversation with yourself and figure out what you can do to get better, right? These are the good moments, the good times that a lot of times folks don't get because they have so many things going on, right? They have to worry about the children. They have all these to-do list items. They have this and that, right? And it's like their mind is at a million places. But when you have peace, you can then gain clarity. You can then think about yourself, and then you can then decide where it is that you want to go, what it is that you want to do. This time is powerful. Take advantage of it, because most people strive to not have any time. There's some people who will pray and wish that they had free time and time for themselves, but any free time they get, they invent a new way to have that time occupied. It happens all the time. People get free time and then they're sitting there and then they're idle for a little bit, and so they just grab their phone and then just start scrolling on social media. And then the couple hours they had to do whatever they wanted to figure out ways on how they can just get better and improve, it was spent for them mindlessly scrolling, right? When that time could have been utilized for something productive, right? This is the reality. This is the truth, right? Everything is trying to pull you away. Everything is trying to grab your attention, but you need to focus. And I understand it can be easy to forget about yourself, because a lot of times we can't, like, we don't look at ourselves, we don't see ourselves. Like, we will probably see ourselves in the mirror, but aside from that, it's like we're often so busy with everything else, because our eyes and our focus goes to everything else except us, that it's easy for us to be forgotten about. But we need to always have ourselves front and center, because at the end of the day, our life is ours to live, and as far as we know, we have one opportunity in one lifetime here. So I would like to hope and think that everyone wanted to be as productive and as fulfilling and as happy as possible, and you have the power to make that happen. Step away from everything that's like not an absolute priority for you to do. Put it down for some time. Put it down for the time being. All of the hobbies that, probably entertain you for a little bit but not give you true satisfaction or true joy, disconnect from that, or stop for a little bit to just give yourself time. Like, a lot of times people set themselves up for failure because they don't even give themselves an opportunity to ever try, right? You can't complain about your health if you don't ever give yourself an opportunity to try and actually be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle. Most people don't ever even give themselves a chance. Give yourself a chance with everything. If there's areas in your life that you're not happy with, that you're not content about, change that. If you feel as though you've just been doing things, but you don't feel like anything you've been doing in your life actually has true purpose or is meaningful, then that means you need to take time to reflect on what is actually important to you and find that thing that actually feels meaningful for you to do. So then it doesn't feel like it's wasted. Like me, I found that doing these videos are meaningful to me because I can share my true self. I can share my growth and my progress with you, and I can provide you with value so that you can walk away feeling more and walk away being better. And these videos are meaningful to me because I understand the purpose of this, right? It feels as though that when I record a video, that I feel as though I had a successful day, that I feel as though I accomplished the day. I begin to feel proud of myself because I know that I did something that's pushing me closer to my goals and my dreams and my aspiration, that this is building towards something greater, right? And I'm proud of that because it's something that I'm doing, something that's purposeful. It has meaning. And this helps people all around the world, all walks of life, right? If you don't feel as though you're doing something that's delivering you that purpose, then you need to find that and you need to do that. So then every day can feel important. Every day can feel meaningful, where it's not like you're just waking up and you're just a hamster on the wheel, right? You are meant for more. There's no limit to your potential. There's no limit to your greatness. You could be, do, or have anything in this lifetime. So knowing that, right, you want to make sure you're taking time for yourself and setting yourself up for success, that you're giving yourself an opportunity to compete in this world, right? Give your life the time and attention it deserves, because you deserve to live your life. You deserve to reach your fullest potential and live your life operating in that way. You were not meant to just settle for less and to just accept the breadcrumbs that society gives you, right? You were destined for more. You were destined to serve a higher purpose, and you were destined to serve other people. You were given talents and gifts, and you were destined to use those talents and gifts to make a difference in this world, right? You were destined to live a complete, joyful life and existence, right? And I want you to be able to never lose sight of that, to always have that be a focus of yours, and to always build and work towards that, right? You deserve to be happy, healthy, and wealthy, because those are all elements to an abundant life. And unfortunately, most people have not experienced that, and most people likely won't ever experience that because they've accepted less, right? And you don't have to do that, right? If you give yourself the time, if you give yourself and your life the time and attention it deserves, that is how you allow yourself to build. That is how you allow yourself to get better. And any sort of problem that arises, you'll already operate with a solution mindset and already be working towards solving that. You'll be working towards building the life that you want and living the life that you so choose. So don't ever be worried or discouraged. Sometimes just all you need to do is to just disconnect from everything else and just take time for yourself, right? It's not worth it to sacrifice, your life and all the things you work hard for and all that, just to improve other people, just so you can fit in, right? Who cares about fitting in if you are your own unique person and you have your own unique perspective? And right, like, I don't need to sacrifice all of my resources and everything to just buy these things, these material things, to just look good for other people, to look like I'm succeeding in the eyes of other people. I'll let those people think what they want to think, and I'll keep working and I'll keep building towards something that's important and meaningful to me, right? This is what I mean, right? I want you guys to give yourself a chance to succeed and to win in life. I want you to give yourself a chance to create the life that you want, because you deserve it, right? Too many people have just settled for the life that society has designed for them, and they feel as though they're just stuck and they're frustrated. But a lot of times it just requires you to take time for yourself, to step back from everything else that's not important, and figure out what is it that you want out of life and work towards that, and give yourself the attention and the focus to then do that, right? So this is how you get better. This is how you create the life that you want. When you stop following society, you stop following the masses, and you say, you know what, like, this is what I want for all these areas of my life. This is my plan, and I'm going to work towards that, and everything else is irrelevant and not important. And in time, right, in due time, you'll get there, and in due time you'll effectively create the life that you've always wanted. So once again, give your life the time and attention it deserves, because that is what you deserve. That wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe, as we're on the road to a million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Show Out, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.